So you need to go and take the ID now. Okay. Pardon? There's a line.
Ask me what did you put yours instead?
There's a line?
No, there's mine.
So what? You're supposed to show, or you're just supposed to go and take it?
No, you're supposed to go and take it. Like, they will take a photo now and they'll provide the details.
So you don't want to go and take it? Okay. Probably. Okay, so let's define what human resource is all about, specifically applied. Okay? So human resource management involves planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Planning, organizing, directing, and controlling of the development compensation, maintenance, and the selection of human resources to accomplish objectives. Yeah. So HRM is basically in three forms. Yeah. One, it is looked at as an integrated function. How does it integrate? Because it links with other departments. Okay? Because we do believe that each and every department that is in an organization links itself with the other departments. So for example, in production department, they want to produce items, but they cannot produce if they don't have people. So who do they rely on? They rely on the human resource. Similar also with the finance. Yes, they need the responsibilities to allocate funds and to make sure that they are controlling the use of finances. But finances cannot just control themselves. It needs people to be working in those particular departments. So you find that again, relying on the what? On the human resource. So there's one spectrum of the human resource that is looking at how does it integrate with other departments. But at the same time, we are also looking at it on a second perspective, is how does it influence? So the influencing part is coming on issues concerning compensation, appraisal, motivation, on how now do you influence to make sure that the people are doing their what? Their work. Then the third spectrum is the one that we are looking at now, application. So how do we apply the management functions? What are the management functions? Planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. So what is it that we are doing with these functions? We are doing organizing or directing and controlling in the eyes of that we are trying to control, to plan in terms of issues of compensation, in terms of how do we maintain people, but at the same time also in terms of how do we select. So it means that we're not just doing things anyhow, but we are applying the functions of management to these HRIM functions, which are looking at compensation, how do we maintain people, and issues also concerning what? Selection. So not only just selection, but you're also talking about recruitment as well, because these two, as I have said, they basically go hand in hand. So that's the definition on HRIM. Okay. So what are the objectives of human resource management? So number one is that we have societal objectives. Societal objectives. So what does it mean if we're looking at a society? Do we have any objective as a personnel or as an employee that we are supposed to accomplish that is in line with the society? So one is to make sure that again we are ethical and socially responsible. So looking at societal objectives, it means that as an employee, we ought, or there is need for us to act ethically, but at the same time also what? Socially what? Responsible to the needs and the challenges of the society. Yeah? So we have to be socially responsible to the needs and the challenges of the what? Of the society. So think about NGOs, think about those that are doing social work. They have specific objectives that they are supposed to what? Supposed to meet. Yeah? But it means that these objectives are not, yes, they are attached to the organization, but they are very much looking at in terms of the what? The society. Think of people that are doing public health. They are looking at the health of the entire public. So the public is simply you're looking at the what? Society. So as an employee, what do? You have to act ethically right. And that is being free from corruption. Yeah? That applies also to that. So as an employee, you have that particular objective that you are supposed to accomplish. Number two are the organizational objectives. Number two is the organizational objective. On the organizational objective, we are looking at to recognize the role of HRM, in bringing about organization effectiveness. So what is the objective? As an organization, we have to recognize that HRM has the ability to bring about organizational what? Effectiveness. If the employees are effective, then the organization is also going to be effective. Another objective is a functional objective. So functional, we are simply looking at it as a what? Department. So what does it mean, or how do we accomplish this? We need to maintain department's contribution and level of service. So each department has a role to play in the what? In the organization. So whosoever you are, but so long as you are in that department, the question is, what is it that you are contributing to the department as a overall? As a whole department, what is it that you're bringing to the table that at the end of the day is also going to contribute now to the organization? And it's going to also determine in terms of your level of what? Service that you're providing. And the last one, personal objectives. And this is where the difficulty comes in. Because as an employee, what does it mean? You also have your own personal what? Needs. Personal. Yeah. So what are your objectives as an employee? If you're working for an organization, what would be your personal objectives that you feel that the organization should fulfill? Starts with that, always. Yeah, obviously, it's the payment part. Yeah, what else would be looking at? Personal, your own, as an employee, yes? Yes. What would be your objectives at the end of the day? You're working, yeah, why are you working? What's your objective?
To satisfy your needs. To satisfy my basic needs.
Your basic needs, okay, fine. Okay, yeah. Not only that, because you're looking at also in terms of enhancing it, whether it's your career, whether it's your CV, yeah? You want to see some personal growth in you, yeah? The way you came in should not be the way you go out. Yes, you should improve. We should see some form of growth, yeah? So yes, we are looking at that as issues that are basically personal. Not only that, as an employee, you're looking at how are they going to maintain us. Job security, isn't it? No one wants to be employed today and tomorrow he's already under threat that you'll be fired. No, he wants stability, right? Yes. When you're given, say, oh, you have a contract for 5 years, then you know, oh, you know what? I really have now a job that is going to be what? Stable. But if somebody says that no, your job contract is only giving you 1 month, it means every month you'll be suffering from a heart attack now. You're thinking, you say, are they going to renew it or not? There's no stability there. So we want to see how are we going to be maintained? How are we going to make sure that we are going to be retained? How are we going to be kept? Yeah, that's retaining it that we are looking at. At the same time, how are we going to be motivated? The issues concerning rewards. So those needs that you were talking about, they are personal, but how to satisfy those needs will come through the money part and the rewards. Yeah, that will keep you motivated. So if you're not motivated, it means you will not be able to work. Those are personal things. Yeah, it's nothing to do with the organization, but those are personal objectives. So what it means is that we have to differentiate. Yes, the objectives are one, but some of these objectives are in different categories. One is going towards the society. Another is focusing on the objective. Another one is focusing as a function, as a department. And some are personal, you as an employee. So you can already see that as an organization, they have a headache. Because it means all these objectives need to be what? Accomplished. Right? Both as a society, because we have to make sure that our employees are behaving ethically and responsible. That's why in every organization we do have what is known as a code of conduct. Even as students, you do have your own what? Code of conduct as students. What do they want to see is that every student should act responsibly. They should act ethically correct. Yeah, but also as an organization, we have our own objectives. As a department, we also have our own objectives, and then we have our own personal objectives, as we have said. So we will not talk about the HRM activities because the activities are the ones that the chapters have already outlined. Do you get me correct? Yeah. So if you want to write down what are the activities that we'll be doing in this course as HRM activities, you simply list down those topics that we have seen on the syllabus. Human resource planning, recruitment and selection, equal opportunities of workplace, team building, and all those, right? Yes, so those will be our activities. So that's our roadmap on how we are going to go about this particular subject. Okay? So what's the role of HRM? What's the role of HRM? What role do we have in the organization? Number one is that as a HR manager, is that we have an advisory role. So HRM advises management on solutions to any problems affecting people, personnel policies and procedures. Yeah? So HRM advises management on the solutions to any problems affecting people, personnel policies and procedures. So the human resource management is there to give in advice. What kind of advice? On things that can affect people, because they understand people better. They are a people department. That's why you also deal with a subject known as managing people. Why do you have to understand to manage people? It's because you have to understand the people that are working for the organization. They are under you as a human resource department. So take them as human beings. So because you take them as human beings, you understand some of the things that affect them as employees. But apart from that, we are saying that the HRM department is also responsible to come up with policies. Yeah? So there should not be policies that are just there to make people work like animals. No. But to understand that they are human beings. They have needs. Those objectives that we have looked at, they also have personal objectives. Besides that, we have to accomplish organizational objectives, but what we are saying is that we have to balance because there are also other objectives that need to be accomplished. Procedures. The same way in the syllabus we have talked about the disciplinary and grievance procedure. Those are the procedures that we are talking about. So who gives those advice? It It cannot be a marketing personnel. It cannot be a finance personnel. It needs to be a human resource. What would be the ideal procedure if we have to come up with a disciplinary procedure? If we have to come up with a grievance procedure, who should they go to complain with first? Okay? So that's what we are looking at, number one, as an advisory role. Number two is a functional role. So how is it as a function? You're responsible to communicate these policies, but also to ensure that the agreed policies are what? Implemented. Yes, because you don't just want to have things on paper and there's nothing being done to ensure that these things are being followed. So it is as a function. So as a human resource department, we have a functional role in the organization. And this is to make sure that these policies are implemented. And they are also communicated to the respective people. Because people may not know whether they are breaking a policy if they, first of all, in the first place, they do not know what the policies are. Right? So it means they have to be what? Communicated. Yes. Another role is a humanitarian role. So humanitarian role, your responsibility is to remind moral and ethical obligations to employees. As humans, how are we supposed to act? Humanitarian role, reminding moral and ethical obligations to employees. Another role is also being as a counselor. So, as an employee, so many things affect you. Your marriage life, your health, your mental, physical, career issues. You need someone to counsel, right? Yes. So again, the HRM's responsibility is also to act as a counselor. Consultations. People come to you because these, despite that they are issues to do at your home, marital issues, but when you come at work, they affect also in terms of your performance. So there is need for someone to come in and help you in terms of counseling. Even health issues, certain diseases, certain sicknesses that can also affect in terms of your performance at workplace. So people have to know all these illnesses or diseases that you have and how they can be they can handle them at the workplace. We're still in the pandemics that we have been having, COVID, cholera. Those are things that people ought to know in the workplace. Mental issues, those are again serious issues that we are looking at right now, especially here in Malawi when it comes to mental health. Careers, again, you find that people are not sure about where they are going with their career. Yeah? Sometimes we work, but we don't know that, okay, up the ladder, where are we going? From here, if I was to be promoted, where else am I going? But also sometimes people lack guidance. Okay? But okay, you started with this course, but at Masters, you're not going to do this course. Can you do this? Because it seems like you have a potential in this area. It needs someone who sees that potential in you. So someone is this that we are looking at as a responsible human resource manager who can counsel you, who can give you a direction. But at the same time, also another role that the manager is also, the human resource manager is also playing, is being as a mediator. So you are a peacemaker in an organization, isn't it? To ensure that if there are conflicts that are occurring between individuals, between groups, between management, between one organization and the other, you have to mediate. You have to come in between. To mediate is simply to come in between and to harmonize the situation, right? So remember, as I said, where there are two or more people, grievances, conflicts will be there, disagreements will be there. But we go to the HR to help us. I had a conflict with my boss. So who is going to come in between and solve that particular conflict? We are looking at that as a role of also the HRM. Spokesperson, another role. Somebody who speaks on behalf of the organization. We actively normally see this in funerals. Eh? They say, no, we want a representative for University of Lilongwe to speak. You find that usually it's the HR, who speak on behalf of the organization. So somebody who represents the organization as a figurehead. Yeah. So we are looking at that as a human resource manager. Another role is also to be as a problem solver. So many people will come with you with different questions, with different problems, and what they are looking for is what? Solution. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Okay? So you have a role also to play to solve specific problems. Another role is also of being as a change agent. So you are doing change management as a subject? Not yet? Change management. But I think in OD you'll be looking at issues of change. So again, as an HR, you're also seen as someone who can introduce and implement change in the organization. So remember that usually, for change not to occur in the organization is because the employees are the ones who are resisting. So it only takes someone who understands the employees to diffuse that resistance. Okay? So it means it's only the HR because he has personnel skills. He knows how to manage people. So because of that, it's easier for him to bring in any change within the organization. As I said, if things do not change in an organization, it means because people are resisting. It's the problem with the employees. So it requires someone who can be able to diffuse that, who can be able to talk to them, who can be able to introduce and implement this particular change in the organization. And the last one is that we are looking at management role. So this management role is simply looking at in terms of leadership. Okay? So leadership goes hand in hand with manager. Actually, you cannot be an effective manager if you do not possess leadership skills. Okay? So you need to have leadership skills to be able to handle a group of people. Because a leader has followers. So who are your followers? The employees. So you need to have leadership skills in order to effectively manage the employees. Okay? Then let's talk about also the managerial functions of human resource. Managerial functions. Since we are saying that it is human resource management, so the management part, we also have to understand it, and that is through the managerial functions. So what are these functions? You know them.
Organize. Plan.
Major functions of HR.
Or in short, just the management functions that you know. It's the same, only that we are applying them. Recruiting. Which you can put it on the word what? Staffing it. So we can talk about planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. Yeah. What do you think is there to plan in HRM?
Planning, considering what a human resource does. Sometimes maybe you need new. Usually you plan when you are starting the year, right?
Okay.
So you know whether you need to fill up some spaces, maybe you need new employees.
Okay.
That is planned. The salaries and the wages of employees.
Okay.
And some of the things that need to be done in the organization, they need to be planned. You can't just wake up today and say, tomorrow we're doing this, but things have to be planned in the organization.
Okay. All right. So it means you have to know about the wage trends, salary trends. Like for example, University of Lilongwe, if they are planning to hike in terms of the salaries for people, first of all, they have to do a research to understand how are other universities paying their staff, how much. Yeah? As you have said, you have to plan, you have to look at what are the trends, what are the labor conditions. Sometimes maybe people are not just readily available at any time. As you are saying, that how do you manage to balance up both work and then come and also do a part-time job? It means sometimes it also depends on whether people are available to do that or not. Because if they are not available, it means they are going to be what? Affected. Yeah, so we have to look at it also in that context. So we have to plan in terms of those issues. Whether it's even in terms of personal benefits. Yeah. Do we have the resources for that? So the budget is a clear indication that we are what? Planning. Yes? Yes. So, how many students do we have? How much are we going to realize in terms of money from this number of students? Then we can plan based on the what? Available resources that we have. Okay? Then we are talking about organizing. So yes, people have to be put in right places. Right? And that's organizing. So you cannot misplace someone. Someone did finance and then you say that no, you'll be teaching marketing. That's misplacement. So material, people, everything should be in their right what? In their right place. According to their levels of what? Specialization. Staffing, yes, we are talking about issues concerning recruitment and selection. Why should we staff the organization? It's because we have to make sure that the organization has the right number of people at all levels of the what? Of the organization. People should not feel that the organization is under what? Understaffed. Because the end result is that people now begin to complain that they have a lot of what? Work. It means we don't have the required number. Yes. So for example, like I as a lecturer, I cannot say that I'll be taking 10 subjects. Oh, no. At least the minimum you say 3, 4, then you're okay with that. Still charging, I guess. Okay. Another managerial function is that of being able to direct, issuing orders, instructions, providing guidance. Yeah? That's what we are looking at as providing direction. So you have to be there to issue orders. You are there in management meetings, you know what is supposed to be done, so can you order the rest of the people what they need to do. But apart from that, you need also to provide guidance, and also we're looking at motivation. Controlling, how do we control? So we need to regulate in terms of personnel activities and what? Policies. Yeah? At the same time also, we have to take into consideration what are the plans and observe what is happening. Is there any deficiency based on performance? If there are deficiencies, what can we do about it? Yeah? So it means there, as a human resource manager, we are controlling. Okay. The last area that I want to look at today is on the challenges of human resource management. Oh no, it seems like you still have some 30 minutes or so. Will not necessarily be the last. What do you think are some of the challenges that you can face in HRM? So number one, we are living in a world of now globalization. Yeah? So this means you come across unfamiliar laws, language, practices, attitudes, work ethics, culture. Yeah? Here we are Yeah, we have diverse people coming from different backgrounds, different countries. Yeah. So because of globalization, this has also become as a challenge. Yeah, because we tend now, people will say all sorts of things, they'll come in with laws that you're not familiar with. Yeah. Languages, which will become a barrier. Practices that they do, because we are coming from different organizations, different backgrounds. Yeah. Not only that, another challenge that we see is about corporate reorganization. Corporate reorganization. So this reorganization is coming in because of mergers, acquisition, joint ventures, strategic alliances. Okay? Yeah, so you find that organizations are merging, it will change the way how it operates. Yeah, so that's why we're calling it a reorganization. The organizations already existed, but now because they have merged, or another has acquired the other, or it's a joint venture, or it's a strategic alliance, as what the parties did in Malawi. They don't say alliance, strategic alliance. Yeah. So these are things that it means that each party is coming on also with its own different views. Yes. And now how do we bring that together? How do we manage with these differences? Yeah. So even in organizations, you'll find that we are coming with the different people coming from different organizations. They were used to doing different things in their own respective organization. But now that you have come together, what is going to happen? So it becomes also a challenge even in terms of human resource practices. Yeah. Not only that, we are also looking at changing demographics of the workforce, as a challenge. Yeah. So we're looking at changes of the what? The demographic, characteristics of the what? Of the population, characteristics of the society. Yeah. So we have maybe more males than females, we have more females than the others. So these are things that are constantly what? Changing. Yes? Yeah. Now the population of Malawi, we have more of the youth. So what does that mean? It means that if an organization wants to create more employment or to tap on more people, it means they should target in terms of the what? The youth. Because that's where the larger bracket is. For instance, now if it's a technological film, you cannot be targeting what? Old timers, You'll be targeting the youth because they are the ones who understand the current things. They are the ones who understand the current technology. Yeah. So you might have heard that Rumbani, I don't know whether you follow Malawian artists. There's a Malawi artist known as Fredo Keys. He's now the what? Chan wa youth, Minister wa youth, UGM, Fredo Keys.
Okay, the campaign director.
He was the campaign director, but now he's been chosen as the Chan wa youth guy, Minister of Youth again, something. Yeah. So you can see that things are changing. Somebody will be thinking that such positions should be held by somebody who is 40, 50 years old. Yeah, but now we also look at the society. Say, no, we have more of this. So what are our youth going to be doing? There are many youth that are unemployed. So we have to also take such kind of people. But also because we are looking at that, he can relate well with the what? With the youth, because he is also a what? A youth. Okay. Another challenge is changed employee expectations. So yes, when people come to organizations, you'll find that people have all sorts of employee what? Expectations. Yeah? When you get sick, you want the organization to pay for the bill. The wife is sick, you want the organization to take care of that. My child has been chased from school, they expect the organization to do something. So things are changing every day. You find that employees are coming up with all sorts of different what? Expectations. My house has been burnt down, where do you expect me to go? I'm coming to the office, you need to help me. Is that also our responsibility? Yes. Expectations. So again, employee expectations are changing now and then. Yeah. We never used to have pensions, now we have pensions. Muslim skill, medical schemes, we never used to have that back then, now we have them. Things are what? Are changing. Child care support, those things are coming slowly. We don't have it yet now, but some international organizations do that. But currently, not many organizations do it, but it is coming. Later on, you find that employees will be demanding for that. That's why even when you're doing interviews, they'll say, what is your salary expectation? That's where now people talk. Oh yeah, you give me a salary, but I also expect a vehicle. You give me a vehicle, I expect you also to maintain it yourself. It's not my car, I'm using it for your benefit, but in terms of maintenance, the organization will be doing it. Oh, okay, I have 2 kids. They're schooling at ABCD. How much is their fees? So much. I expect you to be paying for that. All sorts of expectations. Yeah. So these are things that bring challenges even in terms of human resource. And remember, as we have said, you have planned something and the employees are coming in also with their own different expectations. That's why we're calling them as challenges. Yeah, because people have all sorts of different expectations. Not only that, we are also looking at new industrial relations. Labor laws that are coming in that are new. Yeah? Back then we never used to have holidays when women go for maternity leave. It was only applying for the woman, isn't it? But now these days the law has changed. Mm-hmm. Once the child has been delivered, the guy also can go also for a 3 weeks holiday. You see? But it was no longer, it never used to be there. But why are they looking at that? They're looking at that the man should go and also provide support to the woman. Because it makes no sense for the woman to be home alone. She's the one only on holiday, taking care of the child without any, support. So we're also looking at that. Also the man is entitled to such kind of a holiday, to go and take care of the wife. Remember, that's why we're saying that now we are more concerned about issues concerning mental health. There's so many women that after they give birth, they find that again, they find mental issues. Yeah, maybe the whole experience was traumatizing. Mm-hmm. Some even maybe have lost their pregnancies and they get traumatized by that. Mm-hmm. But how will you feel as a man? Your wife, this has happened and you're going to work. Do you think that the man is going to perform at work? Mm-hmm. No. So you rather also take a holiday and go and take care. Yeah. So these are new industrial issues that are coming up, industrial relations, new laws that are coming in. For example, even about the legal age of working. Yeah, you cannot work if you're below 18. Yes, yes, that's child labor. Yeah, it's not acceptable. These are laws that are there. But back then, it's something that used to happen. Yeah, we have children working in organizations that are below the age of 18. Yeah, but that is not acceptable. And these are things that we are looking at as new industrial relations. Okay, yeah, and other things that we'll be talking about. So this is just as a preamble. This is just as an introduction. So we have defined what HRM is all about. We have talked about the objectives. We have talked about the roles. We have talked about the managerial functions. And finally, we were looking at the challenges of a human resource. So all this is to summarize, to basically understand the introduction part. Okay? Yeah, so it means now that our next topic is now that we have to follow as according to the syllabus. I know, Rumbani, this will be quite boring for you because you have already done this, but as according to the syllabus, our first topic is on human resource planning. So for you, it will be a repetition, yeah, because you've already done human resource planning as a word, as a subject. Yes, but what do? We'll follow as what the syllabus suggests. So we are to talk about human resource planning. Then from there, we'll talk about issues on recruitment and selection as our next topic. If you want, we can start with recruitment. But it would be unfair for her because she didn't do it. You did human resource planning? No. Okay.
You interviewed?
Yeah, but last semester he was with me on human resource planning as a subject. But here we're dealing with it as a topic. Exactly. So that's why I'm saying it will be a repetition for him.
That's good.
Yeah, oh, it's good. It will sink in. Again. Right.